my girlfriend said. I met someone. We're in a situationship. I looked at her in shock and asked, while we're together? She panicked, and whatever she said next, it was something I could not tolerate. So I took the step that even she never expected, and honestly, I'd do it again without hesitation. I'm 30 years old, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I'd been with Brianna for 4 years. 4 years of building something I thought was solid. We'd talked about marriage, about kids, about buying a house together. I'd been saving for a ring, had about $12,000 set aside specifically for that purpose. She didn't know about the money. I wanted it to be a surprise. Turns out, I was the one who got surprised. It was a Saturday morning in late September. I remember because the weather had just started turning, and I'd made us breakfast, scrambled eggs, turkey bacon, the whole thing. We were supposed to spend the day together. Maybe check out that farmer's market downtown she'd been talking about. Normal couple stuff. She was sitting at the kitchen table, barely touching her food. I noticed she'd been distant for a few weeks, shorter texts, less affection, always too tired when I suggested doing anything together. I chalked it up to stress at her job. She worked in HR for a tech company, and they'd been going through layoffs. I told myself she just needed space. I was wrong. We need to talk, she said, not looking at me. Those 4 words. Everyone knows what those 4 words mean. I set down my fork. Okay, what's going on? She took a breath. Then another. Her hands were shaking slightly, and for a moment I thought she was about to tell me someone died. That something terrible had happened to her family. I met someone, she said. We're in a situationship. The word hung in the air between us. Situationship. Like she was describing something casual. Something that didn't matter. Something that wasn't a complete betrayal of everything we'd built. While we're together? I asked. My voice sounded foreign to me. Calm. Too calm. She finally looked up, and I saw panic flash across her face. It's not what you think. We haven't done anything physical. It's just emotional. We connect on a different level. I didn't plan for this to happen. You didn't plan for it to happen, I repeated. So it just happened? By accident. You accidentally developed feelings for someone else while living with me. You don't understand. Things between us have been off for months. You're always working, always stressed. He actually listens to me. He makes me feel seen. I sat there processing. The eggs were getting cold. The bacon was congealing on the plate. And my girlfriend of 4 years was telling me she'd found someone who made her feel seen, while I was apparently invisible. Who is he? She hesitated. Does it matter? It matters to me. His name is Connor. He's a project manager at my company. We started talking during the layoffs, and it just evolved. Connor, a project manager. Someone she saw every single day while I was at work, trusting her completely. How long? How long what? How long has this situationship been going on? Another pause. About 3 months. 3 months. A quarter of a year. While I was saving for a ring. While I was planning a future she'd already mentally checked out of. And you're telling me this now, because? Because I think I need to explore this. I need to know if what I feel for him is real. I don't want to throw away what we have, but I can't ignore these feelings either. I thought maybe we could take a break. Just for a while. So I can figure things out. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. The audacity of it was almost impressive. You want a break. So you can date someone else. And then what? Come back to me if it doesn't work out. That's exactly what you're asking for, Brianna. You want me to sit here and wait while you test drive another guy. And if he's not better, you'll just come back like nothing happened? She started crying then. The tears I'd seen so many times before, when her grandmother passed, when she got passed over for a promotion, when we watched sad movies together. But this time, they meant nothing to me. I love you, she said through the tears. I do. But I love him too. And I don't know what to do. That's when something in me shifted. Not anger, exactly. More like clarity. For years of memories rearranged themselves in my mind. And suddenly, I saw everything differently. Every late night, at work. Every girl's night that went until 2 a.m. Every time she said she was too tired for intimacy, but had energy to text on her phone for hours. I stood up from the table. Where are you going? She asked. To pack. Pack. What do you mean pack? I mean I'm leaving, Brianna. Right now? Today. You can't just leave. We need to talk about this. We just did. You told me you're in a situationship with another man and you want permission to pursue it. I'm not giving you permission. I'm giving you freedom. You can have him. I'm done. The look on her face was something I'll never forget. Pure shock. Like she genuinely didn't expect this outcome. Like she thought I'd cry, or beg, or negotiate some arrangement where she got everything she wanted. I went to the bedroom and started throwing clothes into a suitcase. She followed me, still crying, still talking. This is crazy. You're overreacting. It's just feelings. We haven't even kissed. Yet, I said, not looking at her. You haven't kissed yet. But you were planning to. That's what the break was for. Please, just stop for a second. Let's talk about this like adults. I zipped the suitcase and turned to face her. I am talking about this like an adult. Adults have boundaries. Adults have self-respect. And adults don't wait around while their partner decides if someone else is a better option. I walked out of the apartment we'd shared for 2 years. I didn't look back. Update 1: the first few days were chaos. I crashed at my buddy Trevor's place while I figured out my next move. He didn't ask too many questions, just handed me a beer and let me process. By Monday, I'd already contacted a lawyer. We weren't married, but we had joint accounts, shared expenses, and a lease with both our names on it. I needed to protect myself. Brianna blew up my phone. Texts, calls, voicemails. The messages evolved over the first week. Day 1, please come home. We can work through this. Day 3, you're being childish. All I asked for was some space. Day 5, Connor and I are just friends. I was confused. Please talk to me. Day 7, fine. If you want to throw away 4 years over nothing, that's on you. I didn't respond to any of them. By day 10, I'd found my own apartment. Small 1-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. Not luxurious, but mine. I used some of the ring money for the deposit and first month's rent. It felt fitting somehow. The lawyer helped me untangle our finances. Joint checking account. I withdrew my half and closed my access. Her name was on the lease, so I formally notified the landlord I was removing myself. Clean breaks in every direction. But the real twist came on day 12. Update 2: Trevor called me at work. His voice was weird, hesitant. Hey man, I need to tell you something. But I don't want you to shoot the messenger. Just say it. My girlfriend works with Brianna. She heard some things. What things? Long pause. Apparently Brianna and Connor have been together a lot longer than 3 months. Like, close to a year. And it wasn't just emotional. My grip tightened on the phone. How does she know? Office gossip. Apparently, they weren't as discreet as they thought. People have seen them together outside of work. At restaurants, at bars. Acting very much like a couple. A year. Not 3 months, a year. Which meant she'd been lying to me about everything. Every late night, every business trip, every moment I trusted her. There's more, Trevor said. Of course there is. Apparently Connor is married. Has been for 6 years. 2 kids. The air left my lungs. She wasn't just cheating on me. She was helping someone else cheat too. The man who made her feel seen was lying to his own wife and children to be with her. Thanks for telling me, I said. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But I did know. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Update 3: It took me 2 weeks to find her. Connor's wife. Her name was Michelle, and she had absolutely no idea what her husband had been doing for the past year. I debated whether to tell her. Spent sleepless nights going back and forth. On one hand, it wasn't my business. Their marriage, their problems. On the other hand, if I were in her position, I'd want to know. I'd need to know. I found her through social media. Connor's Instagram was public, and he had plenty of family photos. Happy smiling pictures with his wife and 2 daughters. Christmas morning. Beach vacations. Birthday parties. All while he was sneaking around with my girlfriend. I sent Michelle a message. Short, simple, direct. Hi Michelle. You don't know me, but I think we need to talk. It's about your husband and my ex-girlfriend Brianna. I have information you deserve to know. I'm not trying to cause drama. I just believe in honesty. If you want to hear it, I'm happy to meet somewhere public. She responded within an hour. We met at a coffee shop the next day. She was younger than I expected, maybe early 30s, pretty, tired looking in the way that mothers of young children often are. She sat across from me and didn't say anything at first. Thank you for meeting me, I said. Just tell me. So I did. Everything. The situationship. The confession. What Trevor's girlfriend had heard. The timeline that stretched back nearly a year. I showed her screenshots of Brianna's texts where she mentioned Connor by name, talked about their connection, referenced things they'd done together. Michelle listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. I knew something was wrong, she finally said. I've known for months. He's been distant, always on his phone, working late all the time. She laughed bitterly. I convinced myself I was being paranoid. I'm sorry. I didn't want to be the one to tell you this. No, I'm glad you did. I needed to know. She looked at me with something like gratitude. Most people would have just walked away, minded their own business. I thought about it. But you deserve the truth. She nodded slowly. So did you. We talked for another hour. About our situations, about what comes next, about how strange it was that two strangers could be connected by such betrayal. By the time we left, I felt lighter somehow. Like I'd closed a chapter one didn't even know was still open. Update for the fallout was spectacular. Michelle confronted Connor that same night. From what I heard through the grapevine, it did not go well. She kicked him out immediately, filed for divorce within the week, took the kids, and moved in with her sister. Connor, suddenly homeless and exposed, did what any coward would do. He went running to Brianna, showed up at her apartment expecting comfort and support. But here's the thing about situationships built on lies. They don't survive daylight. According to Trevor's girlfriend, who witnessed some of this drama at the office, Brianna was furious. Not at herself, at me. She blamed me for ruining everything. For telling Michelle. For not just accepting the break she'd offered and quietly waiting my turn. Connor and Brianna tried to make it work for about 3 weeks. Then the cracks started showing. Without the excitement of secrecy, without the thrill of the forbidden, they were just two cheaters who destroyed their relationships for something that wasn't real. He moved back in with his parents at 42 years old. She's still in the apartment, alone, struggling to cover rent that we used to split. The HR department at her company got wind of everything. And while they couldn't fire her, the professional reputation damage was significant. Connor quietly transferred to a different branch. As for me, I'm writing this from my new apartment 3 months after walking out that door. I've been going to therapy, not because I'm broken, but because I want to process everything properly. I've reconnected with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. I've picked up hobbies I'd let slide. I'm training for a half marathon, something I'd talked about for years but never actually committed to. The ring money? I used the rest of it for a trip to Portugal next month. Solo travel. Something I've always wanted to do but kept putting off because Brianna didn't like traveling without a rigid itinerary. Michelle and I have stayed in touch. Nothing romantic. Neither of us is ready for that. And honestly, that's not what either of us needs. But there's something comforting about having someone who understands exactly what you went through. We check in on each other. Make sure the other one is healing. Last week, Brianna finally stopped texting. Her last message was 3 lines long. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life. I'll never forgive you for this. I read it once. Then I blocked her number. She's wrong, of course. I didn't destroy her life. She destroyed it herself, one lie at a time, while I was planning a future that never existed. All I did was refuse to play along. Edit 1. A lot of people are asking how I found Michelle so quickly. Connor's Instagram was completely public, and he had his wife tagged in multiple posts. It took maybe 20 minutes of looking. If you're going to cheat, maybe don't broadcast your family all over social media. Just a thought. Edit 2. For those asking about the legal stuff. In my state, there's no common law marriage, and we weren't engaged. The joint accounts were the biggest headache, but since I only withdrew my documented contributions, there was no legal issue. Always keep records of your financial contributions in a relationship. Trust me. Edit 3. Someone asked if I regret telling Michelle. Not for a single second. She had a right to know who she was married to. Her kids had a right to a mother who could make informed decisions about their family. Sometimes doing the right thing means being uncomfortable. I'd rather be uncomfortable than complicit.